Bueno, como siempre es un placer tener a Jaime Mausan con nosotros en este foro. Bienvenido, Jaime.
Muchas gracias.
Comunicación de Financiero esta noche.
¿Cómo estás, Héctor? ¿Cómo te va?
Jaime, ¿qué significa esto que acá?
Hoy una entrevista de controversia con el periodista Jaime Mausan, quien ha dedicado más de 25 años al estudio.
I would like to welcome you in UFO Disclosure, Bulgaria, and it's a pleasure to meet you and to be able to speak with you.
Thank you.
So that video will be in YouTube, the UFO Disclosure Bulgaria channel. Will have subtitles in Bulgarian, but will be exposed to the world. So I'm really very happy to have you in the camera. Let's start from today. You have excellent, amazing presentation, and especially the most fascinating thing was this objects above the Pentagon and also Kremlin, Russia, and actually they was seen many places in the world. What do you think about all this? I mean, why nobody talked about that?
That's a mystery. I don't know why, with such evidences, when you have 4 people recording a UFO above the Pentagon, and you have the interviews, and you know who they are, and you know that the videos are real, and you consider that this is the most, probably most secure place in the world, and nobody does anything. It's really more mysterious than even the sighting. Why nobody does anything? Nobody said anything. The newspapers, the media, the newscast, nobody investigated this. It is very difficult for me to understand. I've been investigating that case for the last 3 years, since 2018 when it happened. And then I found that the same object was above the Kremlin 9 years before. That's December the 9th, 2009. 9 days later, it was at the Reichstag in Germany. It's a very secure place too. I mean, we're talking probably about the strongest country in Europe. And then you have it in close to NASA, and then you have it in Shanghai, the financial district of Shanghai. And in not a single place, not a single investigator did anything. How can you explain that? As I said, it's more mysterious than the real sightings, because how can it happen? I mean, you have an object of 300 meters in diameter, hovering about the most important places in the world, or the most secure places in the world, and nothing happens.
And the most interesting thing about that is there is not any kind of military aircrafts flying around to do something. Do you think that...
No the military, no the media, nothing.
Do you think that maybe this object blocking everything?
No. No, I think they knew it was there, and what can they do?
Or maybe they prefer...
Can they confront it? And then, okay, is there, nobody's doing anything, and then you have 3 or 4 jets going around, attracting all the attention into this object that is there above the Pentagon. I mean, it would be scandalous. It would be a huge shock for society. Or what happens if this UFO attacks one of the airplanes and the airplane crashes into Washington, D.C., near the White House? I mean, you must consider that probably they were so much afraid that they didn't do anything.
Did they prefer to stay quiet?
Yeah, because nothing happened. I mean, the first one was the Kremlin. The Kremlin, it was there from 5 o'clock in the morning to 8:15 in the morning. And we know, because the people who recorded first told us the timing was 5 o'clock, and we know that the light came up the sun around 8:15 in December, in December the 9th. We checked that. Then we know that the object was there for 3 hours and at least 15 minutes. And not a single reaction from the Russians. And then in Germany, not a single reaction from Germany. And then in Washington. I don't know if they knew what was happening before and they did the same, or all of them react the same way because they were so much afraid. What could you do? You are the head of the defense of your country, of Bulgaria, and stays there in the middle, just above the National Palace. What would you do? Would you send airplanes to attack it? Would you attract the attention? Probably you could keep quiet, hoping that nobody realized that this object was there.
Yeah, the other thing which made me angry, for good reason, no one of all this mainstream show up.
That's the problem.
This is huge.
That's our duty. That's our duty. I am a media man, and I'm doing my part, but nobody else did. I want to send this to the Washington Post. I want to send this to the New York Times. I want to send this to ABC, CBS in the United States, or to Pravda in Russia, or in Shanghai, to the media, to know what they say. Why never investigated that? They are failing as journalists when you have such an event in such a place and you don't do anything.
The most huge event, I think that was the first time in 1952, when 5-6 hours.
July 21st, I think it was 1952, when there were many UFOs around Washington, D.C.
Right.
But then people saw it was in the media, it was presented, and what they said, oh, it's a climatic inversion.
Yeah.
That's what the Air Force said. Una inversión climática. What is that? It's when the air is hotter above than below. Then the pollution stays down. That happens in Mexico every day because we are in the middle of the mountains. Then you have this climatic inversion, and then the air cannot escape until heats up and then evaporates. How can they say that? How can they say that in 1952? The people was so dumb there, or they didn't have any experience. When they heard, oh, climatic inversion, well, it must be something very strange. No, it's not that strange, it's just the temperature of the air. But they use it to confuse. And they did it.
Phenomenon.
They did it because they were military and they know what they are talking about. And it's amazing. They always lie. They always lie in our faces and nothing happens.
I'm thinking if the governments say officially, yes, they're real, I mean,
they're going to say it. They're going to say they don't know what they are. That's going to be the first step.
I think they're afraid to lose all this power, the governments, if they discover.
They are afraid of everything. They don't know what, because once you accept they are there, what is the next step? You have to communicate with them. There is no excuse. If they are there and people know they are there, you have to say, hello, let's talk. Why are you here? What do you want from us? Let's negotiate. But at that moment, and I think this is the main point, we have to accept that there are laws in the universe. At that moment, we will have to accept that we cannot do anything we want. We cannot put weapons in the space. We cannot use the space for war. We cannot do many, many things. And probably we have to take care of our planet. We have to change the way we are. We have to sacrifice. And especially those who possess the energy, what is going to happen to them, to the oil industries? You see, I accept that in the 1940s or 1950s, they were afraid of the power and they didn't want people to consider that there were more intelligent beings out there, or more powerful beings out there than we were. But that time has passed. Now the problem is that we are going to have to change, to adapt to a universe. And we are very much afraid. Not us, the power, the governments, the money people, those who own the oil industries, some, because that's all over. You know what? It's finished. Then probably when they tell us, if you continue, this is going to be your future in 10 years or in 15 years, we can ignore that. And then we have to change everything. And we have to sacrifice ourselves. And probably people, governments don't want to do that. It means that you cannot use this, you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you cannot destroy the jungle, you cannot transform everything into money, you cannot continue affecting species, you have the duty to preserve life, and that means that we would have to do many things that probably we wouldn't like because we are very comfortable the way we are.
The last 10 years, all these activities all over the world increasing. People have all these smartphones, even if they don't have cameras. They're taking pictures, they're sharing. There's a lot of evidence, and that cannot be denied.
And that's why they are willing to accept now that there are things there that they don't know what they are.
Looks for me like scientists like ostrich, putting head in the sand and they don't want to see anything.
Well, for the first time, I think probably they know about this huge pyramid above the Pentagon. Probably they know it's time to tell people, not that, but to accept that there are flying things there that probably are not from this earth. I think they're willing to go that far for now. But once the scientists get involved and they say, okay, they are not from Earth, they are smart, we have to talk to them. And that's when it's going to be the chaos, the shock. The shock is not going to come when we say, oh, there are extraterrestrials here, you know? No. The shock is going to come when we start communicating with them. And they answer. When they answer for the first time, that's going to be big. That's going to be all over. That's going to change everything.
I mean, absolutely everything.
Absolutely everything.
Belief system?
Absolutely everything. Are we ready? Are we willing?
Maybe not.
Are we willing? Well, if we are ready or not, it's going to happen. We better be ready. We better be ready. Besides, let me tell you something. It's the best thing that could happen to us. It's the only way to save this civilization. We are on the brink of extinction. We are almost there. Not just the climate, extinction of life, resources, people, food. Food is going to be very important in the next few years.
Water.
Where? I mean, the climate. The water to drink, of course. I mean, there are so many crises coming together until it's just one huge crisis. And that has happened many times in Earth. Remember the Mayas, remember the civilizations in Turkey 10,000 years ago, and so what happened to them? They came to an end because they had to confront things they couldn't survive. It has happened many times, it's going to happen again. Even, it doesn't matter that we are now, what, 8 billion people or whatever, or close to that, and we are going to be 10 billion people. Well, probably not everyone is going to die, but the civilization will be gone. And it's going to be terrible. I don't want to live in that world because it would be a world without rules, a world that wouldn't be safe. We would be going back to the time where there were no rules, no law, nothing.
Do you have a hope?
I have a hope. Do I have hope? Yes. My hope is we communicate with them and then we listen.
And we need to talk much more publicly about this.
Well, we are doing it, and they are willing. Finally, the congressman realized how important is this, realized that the phenomenon is real. Now they are competing. They are competing to see who wants to reveal more, to tell more to people. Now they love the subject, and that's good. That's good because it's going to take us to accept that they are here. And when they are here, again, communicate with them. Yeah. It's like a jet.
4 or 5 years ago, in Lib, Nevada, in Paula's conference, you had presentation. And
Yeah.
You talked for first time about these mummies found in Peru.
Yeah.
Do you have new information about what happened with all this?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. There are new universities investigating this. Very soon they will release the information. The information is going to be shocking because that information is going to prove that they are real. And if they are real, it means that we had contact with other beings more than 1,000 years ago. And that they live with us, that probably they were influential to us. Probably they helped the old people to build pyramids, to have the knowledge they had about the universe. So many things. I mean, I always thought that, no, there were no such alien astronauts or whatever you want to call them. I didn't think that. Now I changed my mind. After that finding, because I know it's true, I have to accept that I was wrong, and that is proof that they have been with us, living with us, influencing us for thousands of years. But very soon, I cannot give you the information because they asked me not to give the information, but I tell you, it's going to be very important. And I asking them, I am telling them, release the information just now. Why? Because right now, can you imagine the shock when we are accepting in the Congress in the U.S. that this is strange, we don't know what it is, and then in South America, a university announces that they found bodies and the bodies are real, and they checked it, they made the analysis, they took the DNA, and that they are real extraterrestrials, then they will have to accept immediately, right there, that these who are flying there are also extraterrestrials. That is why I think is the right moment. I want to talk to them, to tell them to organize a press conference and give this information as soon as possible, but not to take a long time.
Okay, they're real, but where are they from?
Who knows? It doesn't matter. Oh, they are there from there or from here or from wherever. Arcturus or Taurus or Orion or Pleiades, wherever. It doesn't matter. They are from out here. That's what it matters.
I saw them in Ica
Yeah?
University. For me, it looks very real and like a structure. They're very similar like humans. There's some differences, like especially the fingers and the skull, and also
So many things.
yeah.
The head, the eyes, the bones, and also the DNA. We made a test of the DNA, the small ones, and we compared that DNA with 1 million species. And not a single one was similar to that. You know what was similar to that? The beans, the plant. Can you imagine? They had the same genes that the plants of beans have, 20%. That was the closest. Difficult to explain why.
Eventually, also they can be hybrids.
The possibility that Maria is a hybrid is very high. No, has not been proved,
Yeah.
but it's very possible. It is very human, but at the same time, it's not human. I mean, these 3 fingers. It has the fingerprints the same, like humans. Many things inside the stomach, the heart, everything is there, and it's very similar. But there are some little things, like the size of the head, like the eyes, the sockets of the eyes, and so on, that are not the same. Then we can say that it's half human. I think that legend from the Sumerians, where they say that they mixed with humans, that's the result. And they were the descendants. And that's why we have many people with elongated heads that were not made by other humans. I mean, you know, you can deform this to create that. But I don't think in every case, they were deformed specifically by other humans. They are natural. And if they are natural, they are not from here. Or at least they would be hybrids here.
In South America, I mean, I've been only in Peru, but 2 times. But I have a knowledge that South America have a lot of mysteries, a lot of ancient history, and even before maybe, probably there was existing civilization even before the last flooding of the planet.
Like in Turkey.
Yeah. And
Göbekli Tepe.
yeah. Eric von Daniken, he spent years in Nazca looking for answers about these Nazca lines. Do you have fresh information?
No. No, I think if there were these creatures here and they knew they came from there and they saw UFOs or whatever, I think they did these lines to contact with them, to make an homage to them, I don't know. That's I mean,
Yeah.
some people say they are airports for UFOs or things like that, or I don't know. I think it's just to try to communicate with them.
The other thing which is very interesting for me is these pyramids. They call also wakas, the place for powers. They're everywhere in the world. I mean, you have in Mexico, it's similar like in Peru, in Egypt, a little bit different. Even in Europe, in Bosnia, one professor, he found a pyramid also.
What is the main purpose of a pyramid?
I mean,
There is a relation. All the civilizations that have pyramids have a precise calendar of 360 days. It means they were used to follow the movement of the stars. You stay at the bottom of a pyramid and you watch the sky every day, you can follow precisely the movement of the stars. And then you have 4 squares, then you can go around. This is not my discovery, but some archaeologists in Mexico have proposed this, and I think with a good real reason. Even the size of the pyramids is related to the size of the earth. There are many, many reasons to believe that these pyramids are astronomical. Then because there were big astronomers, they were buried under these pyramids, probably as an homage to them. Then they found that the pyramids probably create energy. But I think the main reason that the pyramids were built was to follow the movement of the stars.
I mean, there's a lot of questions about
and there are many ideas and proposals. This is just one more, but I think has a basis to believe in it.
Especially for the Cheops pyramid in Egypt, was oriented south, north-south.
No, the orientation is perfect all the time, because they had to do it this way to be able. Probably that knowledge came from the stars. Probably these creatures gave them that knowledge. You have to build this, you have to watch the stars to be able to understand where you are, probably. When we connect with them, they will tell us. Right now, it's just pure speculation.
Yeah, it is. Okay, we're almost to the end of this. Can you just imagine you're on the world stage now, and you have to say something super important for the human race. What, if you have that chance, what are you going to say?
To the humans or to the aliens?
Both of them.
That we have an extraordinary chance to become part of this incredible society that exists in the universe. That I would like my kids, I would like the next generations of humans to be able to fly freely around the space. That I would like my planet to survive, to be able to create this society that is going to be closer to God. I think we have an incredible chance right now, even though it looks so ugly and so bad, and we have war, and we have so many problems. At the same time, as I said in my presentation, we are so far, but we are so close. And if we use this chance to be part of this community, is the best thing we can do for the future of human beings.
Хайме Маусан was a special guest in UFO Disclosure Bulgaria, and we're very thankful for your time, sir.
Hello to my friends in Bulgaria. I love your country.